Christie, and I'm glad you're here. And today's topic is about switching to homeschool. So, we're going to be talking about how to make the transition to home. So, when we came home for the first time with our boys, that had been, I guess, 3 of our boys out of 4 had been in some type of educational setting outside the home when they started to homeschool. And we had to consider, what do we want to keep from what they were enjoying in the classroom, and what do we want to toss? And there may be some value there, some things that your child enjoyed that they would like to continue. Some of those things might be surprising, so it's worth a conversation to find out what they thought was fun. If they missed something, or if they think they might miss something, you could say, well, we could do that, whatever it is. One of the elements that we kept was calendar time, and we kept calendar time largely in the early grades because I loved it. I loved calendar time. I enjoyed that. I had an opportunity to be in a kindergarten classroom for some time in my teaching, and so I loved all the things that you could do with calendar time. And it just kind of organized us for the day. It kind of set things up to say, okay, we're ready to launch. It kind of warmed our brains up. There was a little math involved, a lot of language involved, some songs and a little poetry. My very favorite is the weather poem, and it's whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. And I loved having a big classroom of kids that really got into that and would say that little poem with me every day. And my boys, when there were just 4 of them, they learned it, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So find something that you like or that your child liked from their classroom, and you can bring it in. One of the things that we kept that was a gift from my son's kindergarten teacher was kissing our brains. So when you've thought really hard about something, you get to kiss your brain. And I still tell him, if I talk to him and he's finished a big paper or something at school, kiss your brain, and he actually does it. He's away at college, and it's just kind of something we laugh about. We kept that in homeschool, and we, of course, did that through the years and enjoyed it with the boys. So my youngest son had this hilarious need when he went into the store and he saw a kindergarten mat, and he could read that it said kindergarten mat. He recognized the word. He sounded it out, and he said, "What is this?" And he said, "It says kindergartner. I'm a kindergartner. I need a kindergarten mat." So he decided he had to have a kindergarten mat. We resisted it because he was our 4th child. We never needed a kindergarten mat before. But he was insistent, and we relented, got the thing, and he actually took a nap. He had not been napping before. He'd kind of grown out of the nap, but he started napping for, the first half of kindergarten. He took a nap every day because he would run to his mat, and he was all excited about his kindergarten mat. So it was so worth it. So whatever works for you, maybe they want to raise their hand and say what they want for lunch. That might seem silly, but if it's just a playful thing, something they enjoy, then, whatever works. You might also want to see what elements of home that you need to pause. Just some different things each day that can be distractions. Maybe the phone is a distraction for you or for them. I usually would take my phone and put it on the mantle, try to put it aside, and have just a signal to myself and to everybody, I'm engaging, we're doing this. That can wait. If I get messages, I will look at them later. Another thing is things around the house can tend to get our attention as we're going through the day. And a lot of times I would ask my husband, what's most important to you? Because maybe I would be stressed out about something that wasn't even important to him. And so that is one thing that was helpful to me, was to ask, okay, these things are stressing me out. I need to do this, this, and this, and I can't do all of those things. So there were some things that just needed to pause. If there's something that you cannot let go, try to do it before or after the school day. Try to go ahead and get it done, and then go into the school day not distracted by that. And maybe just resetting expectations with people around you that might think, oh, now that you're homeschooling, you can, do this or that. And when you're transitioning to homeschool, setting boundaries is so important. So maybe reconsider those any kind of responsibilities. The second thing we talk about a lot is deschooling. So there's no need to recreate the classroom at home. Your homeschool will look different than a classroom. I'm sitting in my homeschool room here. This is a small dining room, and we've made it part of. Been part of our home, and it definitely functions like a home. We do not have a separate school room. It doesn't look like a classroom, but whatever elements that you want, how much it differs from a classroom is totally up to you. But just know that you don't have to try to recreate the classroom at home. So how you homeschool, even with Sonlight, is going to vary according to your family makeup, your routines, and the decisions you make, and your needs. So, some families do decide they need a complete reset to try to, differentiate that we're not doing school like it was before. We're doing our own thing, and it's going to look a little different, and that's okay. And so sometimes we need to say those actual words, but sometimes we can communicate that by taking some time off, maybe using the summer to de-school. And my boys, when they were little, they thought that reading aloud, they did not know that had anything to do with school. They thought the only thing that was school was math. Because, and for years that was the case for my little guys, because it was just part of what we did every day. And so that's the beauty of homeschool. You're learning and you're making it fun. And so you can just kind of do a complete reset in the summer and do some fun things like reading some books and maybe some experiments, maybe some art projects. One of the fun things we did when we launched was we made rock candy, and it was kind of a science experiment where we made crystals, and we used some just construction paper to do these art projects, and launched for the year with shape monsters that were kind of like Monsters Inc. monsters with little eyes and different things, but we used, basic shapes, ovals, triangles, circles. And we made monsters out of those, so shape monsters. You can get ideas galore on art projects, and you can go down a deep hole with that. So just try to find a few that you like and go with them. Artistic pursuits from Sonlight. You could do a couple of those in the summer and get started. So there's if there's lots of discussion for you guys, you might want to start a discussion jar so that you are not getting bogged down with all the many lovely questions that come about during the day. You can have a little jar. I've found helpful at times. Okay, that's a great idea. I like that question. Write it down. Let's put it in the jar. We'll get it out later. So that's something that you could do, and that'll help you once the years and the school years in full swing. Starting out with a new year, maybe do something fun to launch the new year. A lot of people start out with a fun celebration of some sort. Maybe go out to breakfast, maybe have their favorite breakfast at home, or not food related. Maybe just do something to make it a little more festive. One year my husband and I bought balloons, like a balloon for each boy's chair, and we just got like a plain plastic black tablecloth and had some red apples and some school supplies for decorations, like in a pretty vase. I had rulers and pencils, and I had all sorts of things, and we just made it kind of fun. And so that was a fun start to the year. So whatever works. Oh, we did one year, we made these candy molds, or like chocolate molds, and we had sundaes, like ice cream sundaes the night before. That was fun. So that is just deschooling, kind of signaling that we're going to do things differently, but it's going to be okay and it's going to be fun. So schedule and how it's different than a traditional school. So you can make school or homeschool fit your child's needs so much easier when you have just one-on-one time. So you can take longer or place more emphasis on some subjects based on need, and you get to customize. So when I started with Sonlight with another family overseas, they were doing a 9-to-1 schedule. So I just kind of adopted that and went with it. It worked well. Of course, I've used that. Kind of started off with that from the beginning, but I stretch it into the afternoon if I ever need to. Longer with high school. And you might think there's so many things to get in, and I have this many children. How am I going to do this? But you do have a little bit of extra. Kind of a bonus in that you don't have attendance, you have no assemblies, you have no intercom announcements. You do have distractions, but there's no taking lunch money or field trip, book fair, fundraiser money, and there's less wait time in between. So the day can move so much faster. So with Sonlight, a lot of people schedule their day into table time and couch time. And so the table time subjects are those subjects that you are writing the math, the writing, the science activity sheets, art projects, those types of things. And then the couch time is, of course, the reading aloud or where they read to you, the time that you're reading about history and even your science, all of that time. And you can switch that up however you need during the day. Maybe you start at the table and do a little bit and then do your time together on the couch and then come back to the table, however it works for you. And you can even push to Saturday, like maybe science experiments on Saturday, or maybe you do your developmental subjects every day, math, writing, reading every day, and then do content-based subjects like science, art, PE, music. Those can be rotated with, the 4 of those can be on a rotation schedule. Another thing that we want to talk about is just basically addressing negative school experiences or earlier educational experiences, academic, social, or otherwise. So when you start homeschooling, you're going to have this time together, and you get to go back and maybe solidify some academics concepts that were just need a little shoring up. You can review, see what they really know, what were they missing, what did they not understand, and have a chance to communicate that they didn't understand. You may realize that your child doesn't really hate that subject that they have grown to resist, but maybe they're just missing connections that they need to understand a little better. And or maybe they need a challenge, and something comes easy and it's boring, and so they just need that little bit of, maybe in a science concept, instead of going this deep, maybe they need to go this deep and dig in and find a little more, and that's going to just be motivational for them. One thing I noticed when my sons came home is that the comparison game can start very early. And so you may start to see that your student had ranked themselves in a way that wasn't healthy. And so you can kind of help them kind of get out of that mode of comparison, and they can thrive because they're no longer in this competition. They're just able to love to learn every day. And so while you're reading books and driving in the car and spending time together, you might learn about bullying or pressuring that happened in school or in other places. And you get to talk through those things, and without the pressure of those busier seasons that carried you away from home, you start to have an opportunity to speak into some of those things to your kids. So I hope you have found some of these tips helpful. Come to the app and ask questions if you have something to share, or if you have something to ask, and we would love to see you there. Thanks.